guys, and welcome back to the kingdom. I hope you've all had positive and productive weeks this week. So this week we're talking about diversity in fiction, which can be a divisive topic. Now obviously, clearly Caucasian, and I live in England, so you might be wondering why on earth I want to talk about diversity. Firstly, I'm a bisexual, and secondly, I have a hidden mobility impairment, so basically a hidden disability. But again, I recognise that is a narrow sphere of experience to go off of. So firstly, I would like to say this. I am human. I still make mistakes, and I certainly don't claim to be an expert or know about everything. Like so many others out there, I just do my best. I learn from honest mistakes and try and spread as much love, positivity and acceptance as I can, because at the end of the day, that's the most important thing. But surrounding this topic, understandably, people can get upset. So you may be wondering why I want to talk about it, and the answer is really simple. Because it's important. Life mimics art, and as such, art then needs to discuss and exemplify things that we want to see change in society and life around us. Now, obviously this topic could be a political minefield, so we are going to try and neatly dodge that and talk strictly in a fictional, writing, book-related topic. So let's talk about diversity, why it's needed, and why there should be representation in your novel. Let's do this. Okay, firstly, diversity doesn't just refer to ethnicity, skin colour or homosexuality. However, they are the easiest examples to reach for, but it is important to note it is not the only kind of diversity out there. There is a huge spectrum of diversity out there, and it's not limited to the ones I've mentioned before. We're talking about different gender expressions, we're talking about different body shapes, mental and physical disabilities, sexual orientations. There is a huge wide range out there, and again, I would like to stress, I am not an expert. If you would like to do more research or to know more about the different kinds of diversity out there, I would strongly recommend that you go through different articles on Google who can tell you more about it. But I would also like to stress, make sure that you get your information from a reputable source and you don't listen to any fake news or biased news. Or like anything when it comes to other people, make sure that you're not spreading false information or fake news, as the media likes to call it, and make sure that your understanding is correct and that your language is unoffensive as much as you possibly can. Obviously, you are not always going to get it right, but the main thing is to try your best and be open and accepting of when you make mistakes, because hopefully 90% of the population will be accepting of the fact that you are trying to learn about something new and that is important to other people and help you through the learning process. Okay, so now that we've covered research and different kinds of diversity, let's jump into why your book needs diversity. And the main answer is for realism and representation. Firstly, realism. The real world has a lot of diverse characters in it, and if you want your book to feel realistic, it's going to have to mimic that. Hence the nature of the word. It's not just that, but representation matters. For example, when I was little, I read Harry Potter and I fell in love with Hermione because I connected with her. I was socially awkward at school, I had frizzy, curly hair that just would not stay straight, buck teeth, and I was absolutely enamoured with books. So I could connect with her, I could see her represented in the fiction I was consuming, and that allowed me to connect with characters, to see my own importance and see my self-worth, as Hermione went on to save the day again and again and again and again. It's important that everyone gets that experience out of fiction somewhere, somehow. It's not all that shocking to think that other people with other backgrounds, experiences and body types or abilities might want the same thing out of their fiction. Now, another question or topic that I can get asked quite a lot is, how do you write physical descriptions without offending people? And the honest answer is, try not to use offensive language. And I'll be honest here, this is something that I also really struggled with, but I found help reading other books that included diversity, because it kind of gave me a little bit of a framework framework that I could go off of. For example, in my debut novel that is being published in November, shameless plug, in my novel Undercover Thief, I've got lots of different ethnicities for my characters. I've got characters from England, America, Thailand, Pakistan, and Latin America. I also have a character with a very obvious physical disability, and these characteristics do manifest physically in their description. As such, in the first draft of my book, I was really nervous about putting their physical descriptions in there because I was so worried about offending people, to the point that my editor turned around and went, "Why aren't you describing these people? I can't picture them, I can't see them on the page." And I realised I was actually doing a disservice to these different kinds of ethnicities by not putting their physical descriptions in the book, because I wasn't making it obvious where these characters were from. So that's when I decided with my descriptions, well, if I write white characters this way, why can't I do the same to all the others? All of my Thai characters have black hair, so I said they have black hair. With my Pakistani characters, I said they've got warmer tanned skin tones because they do. My trick to it is, if you think that what you're writing could potentially be a slur or suspect that it could be a slur, then it probably is. Also, if your book is set in the real world, another trick is you can just state their ethnicity, which is also something that I do later on when you discover that about these characters. But the important thing to note is, even if you do state their ethnicity, it doesn't negate the fact that you do need to give these characters a physical description. Even inside ethnic groups, there are huge variations in light and dark skin tone, tattoos, facial hair, height, body shape, all of these different things. I state the ethnicity because, one, it is actually relevant to the plot of the story, and two, I want to make it absolutely clear where these people are from, but I still include a physical description. Another trick with diversity and writing about diverse characters is to recruit good beta readers and critique partners who can point out when you've been a little bit careless with your phrasing. If you're worried about offending people, hire diverse beta readers and a sensitivity reader. And in fact, the last one, find a good one. Don't skimp on this if you think that there is definite territory for your book to be offensive to people. Find a good one, and then you have peace of mind, because they can come back and say, yes, it's fine, or you may want to tweak this here, or you may want to tweak this there. By making sure that you have a diverse set of people read it before you go to publication, you should catch any careless phrases or unknown mistakes that could be in your manuscript and get passed by an all-white panel of editors. Now, a sensitivity reader is definitely one that I would recommend because they will have a higher level of understanding of all of the different kinds of diversity. Remember how I said there were lots of different kinds at the beginning of the video? They will have a higher understanding of all of these different things and will know where to go for reliable information and advice. So I would recommend that, particularly if you think there are some instances in your book that could tread on a few people's toes. Again, I am not trying to state that anybody is out there trying to offend people. In fact, most people I know, like 99% of people on the planet, try not to offend people, and I guess that's why you're here. Sensitivity readers will help you not to offend people. Now, another thing that I get asked quite a lot is it okay for me to write about diverse characters as a straight white person? And to that I would say it depends on the story. Writers can't always write from things that they've experienced. Otherwise, Harry Potter wouldn't exist, Lord of the Rings wouldn't exist, most of the big fantasy, sci-fi, anything that's not contemporary novels just wouldn't exist. Writing from experience isn't always possible. So from that point of view, it is okay to include diverse characters. However, don't write about a diverse story if you are not part of that diverse group. Here's what I mean by that. It depends how much detail you need to go into this diverse group as to whether or not the story is appropriate for you to write about. Let's use some examples. So if the whole plot of your story is about a gay character and they're coming to terms with the fact that they're gay and they've got to come out to their family and all of those different things, and you're not part of the LGBTQ+ community, then I would say leave that story for a diverse writer who can write about it with much more experience than you can. Mainly because a writer who is part of that diverse group will be able to do the story so much more justice, because they will have a much better understanding of the multiple factors that go into that story, because they've probably experienced more of it themselves. However, if you're writing a thrilling sci-fi adventure and the main character just happens to be gay, then I say go for it, because you're not going into that much detail, that much emotional turmoil over the fact that they're gay. They happen to be gay. So if the diversity is a huge, large focal point with emotional drama and lots of detail, I would say leave that for a diverse writer. However, if it's just an interesting part of their personality, you don't need to dive into it into too much detail, it's just kind of, then I say go for it. Because it's not a huge, focal, moral dilemma, massive plot point for the story, and you don't need to go into the moral and emotional dilemmas in granular detail, I would say that that's an okay way to express the diversity. If they're comfortable being gay from the start and you don't really need to explore it or go into it, then I say great, that's fine. So the romantic subplot is with another man rather than a woman. Great, as long as it's a healthy relationship, I'm all for it. I'm rooting for the couple. Bring me all the cuteness. Anyway, that's kind of it from me today. I know that this topic can be a little bit touchy for some people, but it is important to talk about it and to promote it and to encourage writers to write it and to make those mistakes. Be open and honest about when you've made a mistake and accept, yep, my bad guys, I was trying to do something good. If I've offended you, I'm sorry. And learn from it. I think that's the only way you can really do it, and using sensitivity readers and beta readers are a great way to learn from it in a less public forum. I hope you guys have positive and productive weeks. I hope you've liked this video. If you have, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys have wonderful weeks. I think next week we're going to be talking about something that's less, emotionally involved. We're going to be talking about working out who the narrator should be for your story, so I will look forward to seeing you guys then. See you next week. Bye!